what it is. What's up? Okay. What up, y'all? How you living? How you living? Welcome to another episode of 1 billion. Right, let's go. Good evening, y'all. How y'all doing? Y'all good? Y'all straight? Today is a good day and tonight is a good night. We living it up. Or maybe living it halfway. I don't know. However y'all want to live it. Just live it. Okay? Just live it. So let me introduce y'all to the show. Welcome to another episode of 1 Billion Brave. I'm your host, Domo Jones. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. I am so grateful for everyone that's tuning in, everyone that's about to tune in. And make sure you guys comment because this episode it's about to be a mess, okay? Because we're goofy. Whatever. I already know you're ready. Like, I already know you're ready. Okay, so let's get the introduction out the way. So I'm your host, Domo Jones. And let's get the house rules out the way. First up, no profanity on this show. I don't do that. It's so many words. Like, we're about to use them. So many words in the dictionary. We're about to use them. That's how we get down. Next up, we have no bashing of gender, race, religion, or politics. Now, you already know. What we gonna do all that for when we family? We kinfolk. From one blood you made all the nations. Uncle, auntie, I need the recipe to those greens, is all I'm saying. I need the recipe, is all I'm saying. Because y'all know. This show is called 1 Billion Brave because it represents the 1 billion people of the world that have a disability or a medical condition. And the show brings awareness, light, information, all that good stuff to the world to show people that people with disabilities, they're pretty dope, one, and how they break the stigma beyond their condition. I'm telling y'all need to know this. Hear me clear. Are y'all ready for it? Y'all need someone that has a disability or a medical condition in your group, is all I'm saying. We do some big things in a small world. Y'all need one of us in your circle, is all I'm saying. And don't let it be me because my circle is already full. I already got my T-Mobile top 5, okay? I can't stretch myself too much further. I'm saying. And are you ready for the second most important thing of the house rules in the world that I need y'all to know? We will be talking about Jesus Christ. Hey, Grandma, love you. We will be talking about Jesus Christ. What y'all thought we wasn't? He the main thing. So we're really about to give him the main thing because that's my dog. That's my dog. That's all I'm saying. And last but not least, the last house rule, and I need y'all to put y'all good ear on. Are y'all ready for it? Good. This is the very first talk show that has a hostess with a disability, comma, that brings on guests with disabilities, medical conditions, and essential caregivers. And for this episode, we're bringing someone that's Tanya, I love you. For this episode, we're bringing someone in the fold that has a mental condition. We're bringing someone in the fold this episode that has a mental condition. Okay, I need y'all to know that. Hear me clear. He has a mental condition. Okay, so as you guys know, every month we bring awareness and we shed light to ribbon awareness, right? So that right there, you see that orange? Boom. The orange represents this month is ADHD awareness month. So that's the color ribbon. Boom. Y'all see it? Bam. And we want to bring and shed light to all the ribbons that are out there, all the awarenesses, all the cancers, all the everything. Because they're out there and we want people to know. You feel me? All right, so house rules out the way. Now, let's get into the life of Domo. Are you ready for it? Okay, so because it's winter, it's below 7 degrees outside. I'm gonna explain to y'all why I wear my earmuffs. These are my earmuffs, my infamous. Boom, y'all see them? Yep. Okay, so a lot of people ask me, why do you wear your earmuffs all year round? What is up with these earmuffs? What's up with the muffs, bro? Like what we doing with the muffs? Why you got the muffs all the time? Okay, so let me explain, y'all. It's not really a trend. I'm really not trying to be different at all. It's literally because I'm not trying to be in pain. That's literally it. That's where it stems from. Okay, so growing up, I always had really, really, really sensitive ears. I grew up with a lot of ear infections, like severe ear infections. Um, and also when I was 9, I was deaf in my right ear. So the hearing did come back, not fully, but it did come back. But that left my hearing and any type of like wavelength, whether it be music, whether it be wind, any type of vibration, that left my ears very hypersensitive. So when air or wind or breeze or any type of like loud tone gets in my ear, it makes my body stiffen up, like, and I'm in a lot of pain. So when I was a child, my mom used to give me a lot. Well, she didn't give it to me. She bought me a lot of earmuffs. So it literally stemmed from when I was a child. And growing up, I used to have my ears covered with like cotton and stuff, but um, sometimes that doesn't work. And the weather is like really crazy right now. It's like freezing in the morning, and it's 95 degrees in the afternoon, and then it's 72 at night. So I wear earmuffs all year round. Now, let me tell y'all, I need y'all to hear me very clearly. Your bodies are different from mine. So if you see me wearing earmuffs when it's 98 degrees, don't worry about it, because there's a reason why I'm wearing my earmuffs. So don't be coming to me like, it's hot to you. It's hot to you. You don't know my body. You don't know. You don't know what brisk. You don't know what gust of wind that's then trolley through my body. It could have been I was inside the air condition for 10 minutes, and now I'm trying to defrost. And you caught me while I was defrosting. I ain't think about y'all. I wear my muffs, and I'm wearing my muffs. And I just want to appreciate those people like the Ties, like the Shavotnys, like the Tracy's, like the Reese's, like the even Tanya's that have bought me earmuffs because they understand. Y'all got my heart. Y'all got my heart. I appreciate y'all. Because even though you guys might not understand, you guys support. It's the vision. Supporting the vision. Okay? And for the rest of y'all, just embrace the muffs because they ain't going nowhere. Charlie. My muffs ain't going nowhere. Rain, sleet, or snow. I'm wearing these muffs, and I ain't thinking about none of y'all. Sick of it. Why am I so extra? Sick of it. Wear my muffs. I like my muffs. I just rolled my eyes, but I really didn't because I don't know how to. I don't know how to. Okay, so I think that's Ashley. Ashley, is that you? What up, A-Town? We're going to get it right this time because last time I didn't know if it was you or not. I think it is A-Town. Ashley, I love you. Okay, so are you ready for my next guest? Here it is. I need to give y'all an introduction. What up, A-Town? I love you. I need to give y'all an introduction. Okay, so he already talking mess before we even got on live. He said he about to expose some things and he gonna give his side of the story. Ain't no side of the story. Ain't no side of the story of my life that he needs to give. Gosh, wait. He about to tell it all. Are y'all ready for it? Listen, this is the season of exposure. My mom was on. She told it like it is. Now my dad about to be on. He about to tell it like it is. Y'all about to get the life of Domo behind the scenes of what I be saying. Are y'all ready for it? Come on, PK, get on here. What? Gabe, that was the cue. Gabe,
Is this thing
there we
on?
go. This thing
Hello to
on.
all my fans, all the people who came on tonight specifically for me. I know you thought this was her show, but it's my show tonight. But go ahead, Dominique, do what you need to do.
You got fans?
Oh yeah, I got more fans than ceilings.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's the end of that. It's like a dad joke. Oh gosh. Are y'all ready? See, already he already starting. He already started. Okay, so let's get into it.
Yep.
Let's start from the beginning. Like
Yep.
what made you even want to, what's the word I'm looking for? Have an attraction for my mom.
Um, Actually, my attraction for your mom was I saw her, for lack of better terms, taking care of you. I always noticed that she was always watching you. She was always checking on you. She was always with you. And I saw that motherly instinct from her that kind of attracted me to her. I was like, wow, she's very caring, very loving. And then when I would inquire from other people, kind of what your situation was, health wise, and so I got a few tidbits that way, and I'm like, wow, that's very powerful. So that was the first attraction was of how she took care of you.
I just want to say you're welcome.
Mm,
Let's just get it out there right now. You're
hmm.
welcome.
Uh-huh.
Because of me, you're here.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Starting off with the lies
Because
already.
of me, you're around. Mom, I just want you to know he's around. He's still around because of me. So did you know like the intricate, or I don't want to say intricate, did you know the details of like what I went through just by kind of the outskirts of you hearing a little bit?
Yeah, I knew a few things, but I didn't know the details of it. And then when me and your mom actually started communicating more, then she would share with me more, and just to kind of hear it was kind of amazing. And matter of fact, I think you were actually going to go into a surgery. I think it was your second surgery for your neck spine. And I was like, wow, this is real interesting. So, we were on a praise team, and so we prayed for you and all this other stuff. So I started learning as time went around, went along, and she would share certain things and other people close as well.
Did that ever like have a give you a fear? Because I know a lot of people when they first hear something different from
Mhm.
how they kind of grew up or even been around, because you have your own kids and none of them have,
Right.
like severity disabilities. So did that ever like get a fear, or you were kind of like taken aback, like I don't know if I'm really ready for this?
It was a slight fear, to be candid. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what the obligations were, and I think I was kind of in a real strange place. I think we don't talk about it a lot of times as far as when a parent comes in to another parent that has a child that has these challenges,
Right.
because you don't know the intricacies of it. You don't know the history fully because you weren't there for all of it. And so now you're trying to show sympathy, you're trying to show empathy, but you don't know how to respond. You don't know whether to go over the top. You don't know whether to just lay
Right.
back in the cut. It's almost like a big juggling act. And so
Yeah.
yeah.
Was it a lot to learn? Because going from, not being in the house, but just knowing about my situation, to now you're married and then I'm in the house with you. Was it something that you were expecting?
A whole lot I wasn't expecting. To me, to be candid with you, I think almost every day is a learning experience for me. I've learned so much. And you said in the beginning of your show when you were talking, you said everybody needs somebody in their life that has a disability. And truthfully, to be honest, I actually believe that, because you learn so much. You learn how to love a different way. You learn how to watch. You learn how to hear better. You start seeing these things where it's like, well, I need to pay better attention to this. I need to learn this. And it actually, to be candid with you, I think, and I'll give you credit live on live. I know this is going to be on live forever, but you actually helped build some of my faith. And I say that because to see you're pressed with different things, to see you go through so many things and come through it, believing and trusting God. And it's like, man, I'm like, if she can do this and she can press and she can get past this,
Yeah.
and I'm not disabled in that capacity like
Right.
you, then what's my excuse? So
Right.
you really helped me eliminate a lot of excuses in life of not pressing.
I appreciate that. I'm glad you said it live. Y'all heard it.
Mm.
You guys heard it. You might want to recap that on Sunday too.
Oh no, no, we don't need to do it on Sunday. We don't need to do it. Tonight's enough.
So, like for you, and you already know we keep it a buck here. So
Hmm.
it's not like nothing personal. I ain't gonna get offended or anything. But what was one of the struggles or challenges? Um, let me ask two questions. Part one, when we first became like a big family, what was one of the challenges that you had with me compared to living with your biological, with me having a disability and then without having kids with disabilities?
Patience. You know, someone that has disabilities, you have to give them more time. You have to realize that everything ain't gonna be fast paced.
Yeah.
And because I'm naturally a fast paced person, plus when you talk about activities, there's certain activities that you want to do as a family, and you want everybody to be involved. And there's certain things that you can't do, and it's like, well, that wouldn't be a fair activity to do if she can't be part of it. So that challenge of trying to juggle what to do and how to build family to where everyone's involved and make everything interesting for everybody, it was a challenge at times, you
Yeah.
know.
We went bowling though.
Yeah, and then you choked on that ice because your mom had been telling you stop chewing on ice. We've been telling you for months. It may have been years. Say, Domo, stop chewing on ice. Da da da. But then here comes Miss Hardheaded. You chewed on the ice. We trying to bowl, have a good time, eating pizza, popcorn. We just having a great time. All of a sudden, you choked on the ice, turned blue. Your mama went hysterical. We had to almost pump your whole chest out and get the ice out. Thank goodness it was ice because it melted. But these are one of those drastic things that you caused by being hard headed. Yes, yes, y'all. That's what she did.
Now, you really went real in depth in that story.
Yeah, yeah, because that's what happened. Yeah, that's
I
what happened. Because I
will.
remember we would be at the house and your mom would say, Dominique, don't chew ice, don't do that. But you just want to do what you want to do, you know. And to be candid, that was always a challenge too, because I felt like sometimes I had to play the middleman. It's like I could see you wanting to have your independence,
Yeah.
but I could see your mom wanting to make sure she protected you and that she safeguarded you. And it's like, how do you find this happy medium? Because even you as a child and even as an adult, as a teenager and an adult, everybody at times wants to get pampered. But then it was for me, like, how do I know when Dominique wants to be pampered? And then how do I know when she's like, no, that's enough, mom. Let me learn this on my own. And then how do I tell my wife, your mother, take your hands off of her a little bit, give her
Right.
some room. That was that was a big juggling match.
I think that's probably one of the biggest for both of us. I think, well, for all three of us, I guess I would say, even my mom too.
Hmm. Right.
Because it's like as we get older, there are certain things that I can't do, but then there are certain things that I can do with limitations.
Hmm.
How do I learn to do those with limitations without always leaning on like my parents, or
Right.
just like not even wanting to do it because I don't want to have to try to do the extra work compared to an able body that could just knock it out in 2 steps. It may take me 4.
Yeah. And you had some learning experiences too, because you wanted to be strong in certain things. You wanted to benefit. And I'll give you a good example. Here go another one. I'm about to tell it. I'm about to tell it all tonight, y'all. Y'all gonna hear this stuff. So Dominic, thank God she's able to drive. Her mom taught her to drive when she was younger because, like, I'm not going to be, even though you have a disability, I'm not going to be driving you around like a taxi. You can see, you can hear, you have a decent amount of mobility. You can drive, and she taught her how to drive, which was a blessing. But Dominique at times would not have good feeling in her foot. And so she didn't want to tell nobody because she knew we would take her keys and be like, no, you're not going to drive because guess what? You could not only kill yourself, you could hurt somebody else. So it was for safeguarding. But oh no, don't want to be hard headed. We knew she was feeling a certain way. She didn't want to say nothing. Her mom asked her. Patrice said, "Don't you sure you feeling good?" "No, I'm good. I'm good." And then she was limping out, going slow. And I'm like, we're kind of concerned. Next thing I know, we sitting here at the house chilling, looking at a movie. Next thing we know, we get a phone call. Dominique has done drove, and she was supposed to have been going in the parking lot of the Jack in the Box. And when she came out, she made a U-turn. Didn't have full feeling in her foot. And instead of hitting the brake, she hit the gas. Made a full U-turn in the median. Thank the Lord, she didn't hit no cars. But when we went to go get her, her car was facing the whole opposite direction. And it's like, oh my God. And her mom, Patrice is panicking and this and that. I'm like, but she's safe. She didn't hit nobody. But that was again that balance of you wanting to be independent and not wanting to lose certain functions, or I guess I should say certain things that you were able to do. I don't want to not have to drive. I need to. And you've
Right.
had some learning experiences. You've had some
I've,
insurance claims
I've
and
had
and
so
car in the shop for 2-3 weeks. Hey, but thank the Lord, got protected, I believe, and you didn't hit any cars, and you didn't hit anybody, and you weren't hurt either. But those are learning experiences as well.
Is it hard for you? Well, I don't want to say hard. Is it fearful for you during those times of me trying to be independent, and then I don't want to say slip up, but the independence isn't fully completed?
Well, it's kind of catch-22, right? Because like I said, I'm kind of playing middleman. I want you, I have a different mindset, and maybe it's based on, where I was raised and how I was brought up. I want a person to fail because I think failure breeds learning. I
Right.
don't believe we ever, even if we take a loss, we don't lose, we learn. And so I've always wanted you to make an error because I think making an error allow you to say, okay, I experienced that error. I don't want that error anymore. But on the other side, the mom was at a stage years ago where she did not want you to make no errors. It was like, no, she cannot make a mistake. She was what I believe any parent would be. She was very, very over the top on you, hovering over you.
Very, very.
And and I get it. And I didn't understand it at times because I didn't have that, but I had to figure out how to balance it and how to calm her and how to allow her to see it's okay for you to fail on something. It's okay for you to, for lack of better terms, to fall. Like that one time when you failed. You remember that one time was at the house and your mom told you, Dominique, make sure you're using your foot brace. That's why you got the brace, and you, yeah, I will. And your mom kept telling you, and then you would be in the living room without it and this and that. And you got up and you walked towards the patio door without your foot brace like we had told you to wear. And you remember you fell and you fell and you
I
remember you
don't
fell.
remember that.
I remember it very clear, very clearly. And I say that the mom, she's automatically going to be over the top. Oh my God. But that fall, I believe, was an instance where she changed. You fell and she says, okay, you want to be hard headed? That's on you. She made sure you were fine. You were fine. And then she said, you know what? You're going to fall. And this is what I loved about it. She says, but I have to teach you how to fall.
Yeah.
Because that time when you fell, you just fell. It's like, whatever. And she's like, no, you have to be able to brace yourself. You have to be able to know how to fall because you are going to have those instances.
Yeah.
And I think that was a learning experience for her, but it's also a learning experience for you and for all of us. And so after you've fallen after that a few times, like how you felt the other night, um, you know, I thought I didn't know what. I thought my whole TV and my TV stand was just done. I heard this major noise. I didn't know whether it was something happened. I didn't know what was going on. You came down here, you was on the ground. TV was shifted, the stand was shifted, but you caught yourself. You weren't hurt. But I think it was great because your mom was able to see, okay, even though she fell from years ago when she learned to fall, yeah, you should have been walking around. You were hard headed. But
Wow.
well, I'm just saying, because you had a long day, you know how your body gets tired, but you wanted to try to walk without your walker, and you chose to walk. And what's not wrong with you walking? And people, I'm just telling you, there's nothing wrong with that. The problem was she was walking in the dark. I don't know who, if you're trying to walk because you have to struggle, why you would walk around in the dark. When she came out of her room, there's light switches at her door. when she comes out of her room, there's 4 light switches there. There was several options of hitting light switches, but she chose, to walk around in the dark. And guess what happened? She fell, and thank goodness she didn't hurt herself. But I'm
I'm
sure
bruised
she'll be
up
hitting the
though.
lights.
Woo,
Huh?
I'm bruised up. I am bruised. Oh, grandma. Oh, snap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what happened. That's what happened, mother. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely had and my mom tells me this all the time. Don't have half step your life in in the dark, right? And I think for me, when she says it, it's like I at first I was like, how am I half stepping? But I have to do things a little bit more careful than the
Right.
average person. So
Hmm.
it's not like it's a shortcut, because if I don't do it right the first time, I'll it'll hit me
Right.
later, like when I fail, because I wasn't thinking about being um being proactive with girl, turn on the light. Or
Right.
how about this? Wait till the morning
Yeah.
to try walking, because like you said, like I did have a long day, and now I'm all like bruised up. Then y'all had to stop what y'all were doing, and like
Yeah.
all of that came with me not doing it the right way the first time. So I definitely
Yeah. That
get
messed up
cut.
my night because the movie was a good movie, and it was right at that part of the movie where you're like, oh, this is it, and then all of a sudden you messed it up. But
But you rewind.
thank the Lord for rewind. Yes. Yes. Uh-huh. Yep.
You rewinded it. Was there ever like a point to where you and my mom wanted to do something? Because when I think when I was around you, I think was I like 13, 14, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was kind of like the prime of when I started going through like all my heavy stuff, right? The
Hmm.
surgery, the chemo, the radio, all that stuff. So
Right.
was there a time where you two wanted to do something, but because of like a pop-up medical condition, you couldn't?
Yes. There's several occasions that happened. And to be candid with you, probably the first or second time it happened, I probably had, to be honest, I probably had a little attitude.
Yeah.
I probably was feeling a certain way. But then after a while, you get your heart gets conditioned that it's like, wait a minute, this isn't something you asked for. You didn't ask for this disability. This isn't something your mom like, oh, well, I want to have a child and I want her to have a disability and I want her to have Bell's palsy and I want her. So it's nothing that anybody asked for. So it's like, so how can you not have a caring heart that a situation life happens? And so when life happens, you make a move and you make a shift, and whatever that shift is, it's the shift for the family, and family has to be first. So yeah, we missed several things. We were at events where something happened, where we had to leave the event to come. That time. You remember that time you was in the room and you didn't have your EpiPen, because you were told to always keep an EpiPen in your purse and keep one always close where you are. You remember we was out doing our thing. We was out having dinner, a nice dinner at a very exquisite restaurant. And you had to call Sandy over here because you ate something you weren't supposed to, that you was allergic to, and you didn't have your
What?
EpiPen. Yeah, you remember? Remember?
That
And you
wasn't my
couldn't breathe.
fault.
It was your fault. It was your
No,
fault.
that wasn't. That was your
Where
fault, because you should have put the label on the seasoning.
you should have asked. You should eat other people's food without asking. That's what happens. And so you had to
What?
call Sandy Beeman to come over here to the
Yeah,
EpiPen and all this stuff to save
yeah.
your life. You understand that?
That
Oh
is
yeah, that was
such an
another time.
exaggeration of the story.
We didn't even get our food to go. We left out there so fast. I left prime rib, lobster, shrimp, and baked potatoes. We left all that at the restaurant. You owe me $85 for that.
Because you did, y'all weren't even at a restaurant,
Where were we?
at a party.
Right, a
It was
party
a birthday
restaurant.
party.
Right, and they had all that kind of food there.
Y'all had sandwiches with the crust cut off.
I was a special guest there. I was supposed to have been performing that night, and I had to leave.
Well, I saved everyone else's ears. I saved everyone else's ears.
Yeah, yeah,
So
but there were times.
that's what happened. I was cooking, so I wasn't eating
Hmm.
nobody else's food.
Hmm. But you use a seasoning. You use a season that you weren't supposed to use that you had never used before. So here's the thing. So let me just ask you. Let me interview you now. So let me ask you a question, Dominique. If someone is disabled and have food allergies and things like that, should a person that has food allergies experiment with other seasonings or other food when no one's around, or would it be more wise for if they want to try that to make sure they're in a position to where maybe they were proactive, maybe take Benadryl first or have their EpiPen close just in case? What I'm just asking what your thoughts are.
Is this a rhetorical question?
Yes, it is.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is true though. I should have just stuck with what I know.
Yep.
That
Yep.
was horrible. That was a horrible experience. I
Yeah.
loved it.
And I've always had to be the calm. The
Yeah, you did.
challenging thing with you is even though I may want to go in, I can't. And the reason I can't is I'm that parent that doesn't believe both parents should go in on the child. I believe if one parent's going in, the other parent has to be the balance to where it doesn't go further than it should, but it also the point is made. And so, I've always at times where I'm like, God, come on, Dominique, that's just stupid. Come on, you know better. It's like I can't say it because your mom's already said it, and I
Right.
don't ever want it to be to where a person is belittled for making a mistake from both parents in that aspect. But
Yeah.
I
No,
want the point to get across, so that's why I've always come to you afterwards. Like the other night when you fell, like your mom went in, she went in on you, as she should. I end up texting you. I
yeah.
checked and said, "Come on, Dominique, you're smarter than that. You know better. Don't do that with the. Your life is more important than this. So I'm able to
Yeah.
text to bring the balance or whatever. And that's always a challenge. That's been a challenge a few times because I've been wanting to go in a couple of times. I've been really, really wanting it, but
I'm glad you didn't.
I'm
I'm
even
glad
here.
you didn't.
I
Because
keep it even keel.
we would have we would have been right here. I'm glad you did. No, I appreciate that though, because it's like when my mom is my mom, so she's gonna come in me a different way, even from like a woman to woman, and
Absolutely,
and with her being there from like day one, right? But then
absolutely,
when you come in, you bring a different perspective from the outside in,
right.
and you see things that either my mom or myself probably don't even think about, because
Hmm.
when you text me, you was like, you're using your walker for a reason and for a season. Don't think
Yep.
you're less than because you're using it right now. And I was like, dang, that's deep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's me. I come with the deepness. That's what it is.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. Here we are. So like when you introduced me to like KJ and uh Kendra and Donald, was that conversation of like explaining to them how I move and do things, was that difficult?
No, actually, it was easy because I told them just the basics. I didn't go into everything, and so because the cool thing is kids naturally have a caring heart typically.
Right.
Decent kids, right? So when I shared with it and then they met you, fell in love, I said, understand something. I need you to be observant. Watch. There's certain things she can do, certain things she can't. And so they both became very, I guess I say, connected to wanting to help you do whatever they could and stuff like that. So it was really kind of easy in the regard for them, even to this day. So
Yeah, there, I love them because like, when you're already kind of set, not in your ways, but when you're set
Mhm.
with your group of family and your group of siblings
Right.
that are able bodies, then you're introducing me and I'm coming with all this stuff that you have to be more cautious and aware of. It's just like, I appreciate, even you too, I appreciate how welcoming I was. And just, even though you may not have understood, you still were there to even just kind of be observant and to at least try to understand.
Yeah, it was it's like I said, it's a challenge, right? And I'm gonna share this. I think one of the reasons I was able to respect it a little bit better over time is even as a child. I was born. I wasn't supposed to live nothing but 12 years,
Right.
and so so because only one of my lungs worked. And so all of a sudden one day, my other lung kicked in, and here I am today, 56, so I've outlived the doctors by 44 years, right? And
Mhm.
so I say, or 54 years. Oh no, 44. I was right. 44, 12. What's that? You're a
Yeah, you up
mathematician.
there, so
44. Don't worry about how high I'm up there. Um, but so I was able to understand, like, wow, what the feeling is when you've been given a death sentence. What's the
right.
feeling when everybody's treating you different because they're expecting you to die? And then when you finally beat the odds, so it was like so refreshing to see you constantly beat the odds. And you hear me say it at church all the time. I
Yeah,
tell people, look, I've seen my daughter beat odds because of her faith in God, her
yeah,
push, her press, her lifestyle. So you can't tell me you can't do it. I don't want to hear it
right.
because I've lived with it. It's different than something I read in a book. I've lived with someone who I've seen them do that. And
Yeah,
so but yeah.
very true. It's
Yeah.
different. And let's talk about like you us living in the same house, and so you actually get to see firsthand the different things that I deal with, the different. I mean, you get to see it all.
All right.
What's something that um people? How can I word this? What's something that um you've seen me do that probably people would think will be difficult living with someone with a disability?
Well, I think everything you do, and I'm gonna say why. Some people think someone with a disability can't do this, can't do like there's certain things you can't do. You can't bend over and for instance, lack of better terms, and mop the floors and do this kind of stuff.
Right.
Certain things like that. But you cook, you organize, you do almost anything else. You do it slower. Sometimes certain stuff, but
Hmm.
I've learned to watch what you do to know what you're limited with. Like, every now and then I've learned to know when you're tired, when your body's tired. I can tell because you start dropping stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
she's tired. You need to go to bed. I can tell by the way your leg may drag when you're walking. It's like, okay, she's tired. And so I've been able to watch you just live out your life and live it out in stages. Like every
Yeah.
day I can look and I can say, okay. And the cool thing about it, that's why, you know, I laugh, but I don't hardly look at TV downstairs. It's not because I don't want to be down here, but it's almost like I like you to have your space and your freedom. Even though you have your own room, you have a TV in there and all that, it's like being out in the home. This is your home too. And
Mhm.
so, so I like to see you be able to be free. And I think that's refreshing.
All right. Good. I'm glad you're upstairs. I appreciate it.
Me too.
Stay up.
Yeah.
Stay up till
Up,
upstairs.
upstairs and outside. That's my two
Upstairs
places.
and outside. That's it. Upstairs and outside. I
Yeah.
think we've even built like a bond, and even like just in the surface stuff of even like the same shows, and just like stuff like that. And I appreciate the bond and the connection that we have
Yeah.
beyond just like you just being my dad and you just being the provider. We actually have like a connection, even to the
Mhm.
point to where I remember I'm about to tell myself. I'm about to
Uh-oh.
tell myself.
Yeah,
I
tell.
remember when I was on my way to the Starbucks. I was on my way to the Starbucks meeting Ashley. We had a meeting, and I literally my foot slipped and I ran into
Yeah.
the Starbucks building. And
Yes.
you were the first person I called because my mom was
Mhm.
at work. And you were the first person I called, and without hesitation, you came. And I was like, man, you
Yeah.
came like without no. I mean, like you weren't even like blown up. You just really want to know like what happened.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it was about first and foremost, are you okay? Car
Yeah.
can be replaced, a life can't. So at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, something happened. It is what it is. End of the day, that's why you have full coverage life, auto insurance for stuff like that. And yeah, you tore that Starbucks up. They were closed for 2 weeks. They missed 2 weeks worth of business because of
Wait, and
Domo
they had
Jones.
just opened too.
I know. Yeah. You let them know they need to put reinforced windows in because they couldn't hold back that car. But no, you were okay. The car was damaged. I took a lot of pictures, calling your mom. It was cool because I think when that happens, I'm able to call your mom and give a different piece to the situation.
Yeah.
Like versus she comes up, her natural inclination is she's gonna ask 45 questions. I'm not gonna ask questions. I ask a certain amount of questions because I can fill the gaps in everything else.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
mom, and that's just natural female, male. Females want
Mhm.
every detail. Male, you give me this, I can figure out that other part would happen. And so I was able to say, Mom, this is what happened. Here's the skid marks. I'm telling you here, da da da. Talk to the tow truck guy. So it's like I have the answer. So you don't have to when she come home all of a sudden berate her with 50 questions because she's traumatized. She's hurt. Her car is that. So it's like how do
Yeah.
you balance that for the safeguarding and the love for the whole family? So
Right.
I've enjoyed that personally. I enjoyed that probably more than anything in regards to dealing with things that happen in your life. Is trying to
Yeah.
be that safeguard.
Was there ever a time where you had to kind of um cover me in the sense of people trying to um bash who I am or my disability, or because you know who I am because you've seen it behind the scenes? It's almost like I guess it is the protection because and they're trying to assume who what I do.
Yeah.
I
No, I've never, and I think maybe it's the way I carry myself. I think not that people are fearful, but I think the way I carry myself, that's not something they're going to come at me on because that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I'm always going to protect my circle. I'm going to protect my family. I'm going to protect my children at all costs. If they're wrong, then I'll deal with them wrongly myself. But you're not going to deal with them like that.
Right. Right.
The only thing I've ever had to circumvent in a serious manner was you and your mom. And when you were tired of her, for lack of better terms, over the top for her, she felt protection. And I never forget me and your mom me and you talked. We talked one day for about an hour
Yeah.
about it. And I said, you know what? I said, let me talk to your mom. Let me see if I can explain it to her in a certain way to allow her just to back off a little bit, let her know that I'll fill in some of the gaps, I'll be watching, whatever. And I never forget it was a Saturday and me and her were running around and me and her had a talk. And she wasn't hurt at first, but she was like, "What? Well, why is she talking to you about why?" And I said, "Patrice, she can't talk to you because you're her mother and she respects everything about you and all that you've done, all your sacrifice is great. But she's at an age where it's like, please just back off just a little bit." And I never forget, we pulled up to the mall and I had to go in the mall and get something. And your mom says, "Well, I'm gonna stay in the car." And I knew by her staying in the car, she was gonna call you. And I
Hmm.
never forget when me and you talked, I told you, I said, "Now don't be surprised. She's probably gonna call you. But just be honest. Do it in honesty, but do it in love." And when I came back to the car, y'all were still talking. So I stayed outside the car so y'all could finish because I wanted y'all to have that one-on-one. And I never forget, and your mom probably be mad once I say this. When your mom got off the phone, she shed tears. It wasn't tears of sad. It was like, wow, it makes sense. It was almost like I heard my daughter. Wow, but
Yeah.
my daughter heard me. And man, that was like one of the best days for me. It was just so dope. It was like dope. It was like wow. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Um, I think like from a mother's perspective and from a child with a disability, we want our independence, and it's like from our view, it's like let us show you what we can
Right.
do before you try to protect it, because
Right.
you're our one, and then two, you automatically know what we've been through. Of course, you're going to be protected from two aspects of life, right?
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
us, we're just like there are things that we can do. You may not have seen it yet, but let us show you first, and then correct what we didn't do right or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But let us show you what we can do, and then you carry it the rest of the way.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's dope that we were able to talk, because in and then also you gave me a different perspective too of how to approach my mom.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the approach was great. She was in a position to receive it. But I don't think she would have received it if I hadn't grown in the area of concern for you, for her to see that I cared for you as well, that I wanted you to live life, and I was concerned about your health and your well-being as well. And she saw that for some years, to where, in my opinion, she could trust what I was sharing, that it
Yeah.
wasn't to push her out the way or make her feel like she was less than. It was to allow you to expand and grow in life. And it was okay that she had set such a great foundation for you. She had instilled so many things in you. Well, guess what? Let this flower blossom. You're still watering it, but let it blossom, And so, and I think she was ready to receive it, and it went great. And I think since that day, y'all's relationship has even flourished even more in regards to
Oh yeah.
communication. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is definitely. I think that was the ignite. To even have even more like open conversations between each other, and her getting me right in certain things,
yep,
like, yo, you could do better than that,
yep,
or you're doing too much, even those like that, to where I can even understand it, and I can apply that. Because I think before I'd be like, man, you always just trying to protect me, like you just always, I was
right,
always
right,
turning it away. But now it's more like the woman's side of living with a disability, and she's the one,
absolutely,
so I'm gonna go to
yep,
her first.
absolutely, yep,
And then
yeah.
even for you, from a male's perspective and from a dad's perspective, how to even carry myself as a woman when I meet my husband,
Right,
how to be approached. Don't approach me no sideways just because I have a
right,
disability. Like, don't shun me away, or don't automatically think I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to have a conversation, or little
right,
things like
yeah,
you
yeah,
taught me that.
yeah. Yeah, your husband can't be the type of man that thinks he has to be a caregiver, because that's not who you are. You're not marrying a caregiver. You're the man that finds you is the man that realizes my wife has some limitations, but the limitations also have strengths, and where she's weak, she's strong in other areas. And that's going to be my balance, because the wife is called to be a help me. The areas where you're strong, that man that's where he's going to need the help at. And so he has to have a loving heart. And like I said, he has to treat you the same way that you see me treat your mom. Open the door for you. Got to make sure he doesn't call you out your name. All those different things that you have to try to model before your daughters, so that way they can see, guess what? The man you get should treat you the same way that you saw your mother be treated.
Right. And that's a high standard. So I'm telling y'all, man, right now, come correct. Cause
Yep.
when PK come, it's over.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's over. Okay, so can you tell everyone what you do? Like, who why do I call you PK? Why?
So first and foremost, I do several things. One is I'm a pastor of Remnant of Life Worship Center. We've been in ministry for 12 years. Beautiful city of Moreno Valley. 12 years of great ministry, doing a great work for the kingdom. In my professional job, during the day and during the week, I'm a major account manager for Xerox, a technology company, from computers, printers, network solutions, IT solutions, all those different things from technology. I've been doing that for over almost 30 years. And as I always say, my job is my calling, but preaching is my calling. So don't get it mixed up. And so I try to keep a balance with that, and that's what it is. Well, actually, I got three jobs. I got my regular job, I got pastoring, and then I'm a husband. And I believe marriage is a job. You have to work just as hard as your marriage, as you do your job, as you do everything else. So,
Period.
yep, yep.
I love it. Where can they find you? Where can they find the church?
Church in the Moreno Valley, 14051 Indian Street, Moreno Valley. If you want to find me, I'm on Facebook, Kendall Goslee Senior, not Kendall Goslee Second, Senior. I'm the main one. Instagram, I'm on Insta. I'm on Twitter. I'm on all the platforms. I'm everywhere.
He
Just
on it
find me.
all.
Put in
He on,
Kendall Goslee Senior, you'll find me. I do want to say this. I have a new ministry that's going to be launching at the beginning of the year. It's called Off the Cuff. It's part
whoop,
of K
whoop.
Gospel Ministries. It's a men's forum where we're going to be talking about real life stuff. We're going to talk about men issues, men challenges, men fear, men successes, and things like that, to get us as men lined up, where you'll be able to hear from a man's perspective, life issues, life challenges, but also life successes. And so it's going to be pretty dope. So that'll be launching January of 2023. And that'll be a talk show like this talk show. So see, my daughter
Look,
even inspired me to start my own talk show. Look at
look,
that.
Off the cuff, y'all get ready for that. Off the cuff 2023. It's gonna be super dope. And it's gonna be from a male's perspective. Y'all need to tune in, is all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Tune in. Thank you so much for being a guest on the show. I definitely appreciate it. I don't take it lightly. I love you to the moon and back. You already know what
Yep.
it is.
Yep. Love you too, Domo. Appreciate it. Thanks for the time. Love you much.
I love you.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, I told y'all. I told y'all this episode about to be on and popping. Listen, you guys got the full deity. I need to come and visit the church. You already know, Joe. You there every Sunday though. We the remnant. Hey. I told y'all this episode, we the remnant. I told y'all this episode about to be fire, and y'all got all the details and all the scoop of what he be dealing with when it comes to me. I'm a piece of work, but we getting through it, okay? That's all that matters. So let's get into these sponsors. Whoop, 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 whoop. First one, let's go. The Ashley N & Co. For the women that are everyday women that want to dress casual but cute. Visit the Everyday Woman on IG, the Ashley N & Co. And on Facebook at the Everyday Woman. 2 Live Crew next up. Harris Transportation LLC for the freight carrier services, those that need their items, their bulk items distributed from one place to another. Please email Chris Harris at chrisharris763 at yahoo.com and contact him 951 area code 472-3376. Next up, who we got? IE Regiment. IE Raw Regiment. Listen, y'all know that natural healing. We ain't doing these pills no more. We doing it the right way. We going to the source. Natural healing and wellness. Visit ieraw.com or and visit www.therawregiment.com. Last up, who we got? You ready for it? Okay. Y'all don't know I can sing, huh? Listen, women, I'm gonna need y'all to get in on this, okay? That's just it. I'm gonna need y'all to get in on this. It's to empower you to be even greater than you were yesterday. Like, let's get it. Visit Sister Substance on Facebook and on IG at Sister Substance. Let's go. Listen, 2 church announcements. Okay, well, maybe 3, maybe 2.5. So, next week we will be live, and the guest is about to be dope. We only have 2 episodes left on this season, so y'all get in on these last 2 episodes. Because next week we're about to be live, same time, same place. You already know how we get down. And second church announcement. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you guys so much. I don't take it lightly. I'm going to say it every single episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for commenting. Thank you guys for sharing. Thank y'all for getting in on it. Getting in. I appreciate y'all for being brave. Y'all feel me? Last church announcement is if you have a disability or a medical condition. What up, Cuzzo? I love you. Thank you. If you have a medical condition or a disability, or you're an essential caregiver and you want to be a guest on the show, holla at me. You already know. Holla at me. Part 2 to that is if you have a business or if you have a brand that you want promoted on this show for season 3. You already know. Holla at me. I can holler you out. I can holler your business out so people can know what we doing. Well, what we doing and what y'all doing. Zandra, I love you. Oh, it's not. Okay, there we go. Zandra, I love you. I love you. Yeah, if you guys have a business, a brand, or if you are wanting to be a guest on the show, you have to have a disability. Sorry, that's just how this show runs. You gotta have a disability. Period. Marky, listen. I love you. I just want you to know that. Marquita, I love you. And I miss you. I thank everyone again for tuning in. I appreciate it so much. And I want to appreciate those that come to me. I don't know who's all watching, right? I want to appreciate those that come to me that actually watch the show and are interested. Like, I appreciate that. That really goes a long way. For real, for real, for real. Even if you don't have a disability, just tuning in and getting in all this knowledge and just wanting to know like what we talking about this week. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Thank y'all because y'all be pushing me. Like you're not watching by yourself, Domo. You're not talking to yourself. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Next week, we in there Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, same time, same place. You already know how it's about to be. I'm about to go ahead and eat these greens and eat this cabbage by KK's. All I want is the sides. That's it. That's it. That's all. All right. I love y'all. Gabe, you already know what to do. Get me out of here.